Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Another military story for you guys. It's bad luck for our OP to serve with this upstart. This guy sounds annoying to be around. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. A know-it-all gets shown up at annual training when he tries to take credit for my decision. This happened a couple years ago when I was still in the military. I was in the Army National Guard, and this was during AT. My rank at the time was sergeant. This was the one guy in my squad, let's call him Specialist Know-it-all, who was an absolute know-it-all and liked to one-up everybody. He was quite arrogant. Every time you said a story, he had to one-up you. I'd taken him down a few notches before, usually by calling him out on his bullcrap. I think this particular situation happened during annual training. We were convoying back after annual training from Fort Huachuca. The funny thing is, I wasn't even the one who showed up Specialist Know-it-all in this case. To get back to Phoenix, you pretty much have to take I-10 westbound. It actually ends up going northwest, but whatever. I think we were about halfway to the armory when we ended up hitting a huge roadblock. It turned out that a tanker had overturned and there were all sorts of chemicals on the road, so the freeway was pretty much blocked for about 2 to 3 hours. Because of this, we pulled off the freeway into this little dirt lot to figure out what to do. Specialist Know-it-all was my driver, and I was the VC, Vehicle Commander. A few months ago, I just got my G1, the very first Android phone that came out, and I remembered that you could get Google Maps on it. I turned on the GPS and started looking at the map and figured out that there were dirt roads you could take to get around the block on the I-10. So I told Specialist Know-it-all to let the platoon sergeant know that I had a route that would take us back home. I guess he went over and told the sergeant, but he made it sound like it was his idea. I really didn't care. We ended up being the lead vehicle with the rest of the convoy following us. I was the navigator, and I told Specialist Know-it-all where to go. At some point, he missed a turnoff and we ended up getting stuck by this field. I bring the convoy to a halt. Specialist Know-it-all gets out of the vehicle and runs over to the platoon sergeant and tells him it was all Sergeant OP's idea. I was just following his instructions. He got us stuck. I was thinking, God, what a effing a-hole. He claims it was his plan, then when things go south, he throws me under the bus. The platoon sergeant gives him a weird look and asks me what's up. I tell the platoon sergeant that we missed a turnoff, but that I had an alternate route. Specialist Know-it-all did not know this. He tries to say something about how he was also aware of the alternate route, but the platoon sergeant ignores him and walks away. We start back on the route, and I ask Specialist Know-it-all what the hell that was all about. He starts blabbering on about how he didn't want to get in trouble. I told him to shut up and just keep driving. We ended up driving around this farm on this really bad road, but we made it. However, a semi that was following our convoy got stuck, so we stayed there for a bit to help the semi out with our wrecker. We finally make it back to base. Now that our detour was a success, Specialist Know-it-all wanted to get credit for it, even though it wasn't his idea. He thought he had an opportunity at the barbecue after we got back. We were hanging around eating our hot dogs and burgers when the first sergeant asked whose idea it was to take the detour because it was a great example of adapt and overcome. One of the things they teach us in the military, adapting to a situation and overcoming obstacles. Specialist Know-it-all pipes up and starts talking about how it was his idea to do the detour. I was going to say something when the platoon sergeant looks at Specialist Know-it-all and says, WTF are you talking about? You told me it was all Sergeant OP's idea and that he had the route planned out. You were freaking out when we got stuck because you missed the turnoff and Sergeant OP was the one who came up with the alternate route. Specialist Know-it-all starts sputtering, but he couldn't really come up with anything to say. The first sergeant congratulated me on my ingenuity and said that I was an excellent NCO for making a good decision and getting our convoy home safely despite the obstacles we faced. The look on Specialist Know-it-all's face was priceless. And our second story. You tried to poison my kid. I was working at my small-town grocery store at the time as a lowly cashier. We had these chores we had to do before the end of each shift. The incident in question. I'm facing this damn medicine aisle, so many boxes, and of course, as I'm straightening the Tylenol, some other random boxes fall off the shelf and onto the floor. If you've never had to face the medicine aisle, I suggest you go to your nearest grocery store and try it out just for craps and giggles. I turned around to pick up the fallen boxes, and there was a little boy. I think he was 7 based on his size and communication skills. He was picking up the boxes for me. He said, "Here, miss, you dropped these." And I smiled and thanked him. As he's handing me the boxes, this effing lady comes barreling down the aisle and screaming at me. She'll be referred to as CL for crazy lady. CL: "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Me: "I'm sorry?" CL: "You heard me. Why are you trying to kill my son?" I look at the kid, he looks at me. We both look at his mom, look at the boxes, and look at each other again. Me: I'm not. I dropped these boxes and he was being really sweet and picking them up for me." CL: "No, you're trying to kill my kid. I will sue your effing A." Me, confused: "Ma'am, how exactly am I killing your kid?" CL screaming at the top of her lungs, "You know exactly what you're doing. Get the F away from my son." I look at the kid again, and he's just as baffled as I am. He looks at me, and I hear him mumble, "I'm really sorry," to me, and I felt just so bad for this kid. CL: "You probably try to do this all the time, don't you? Well, I've got you now, B." Me: You know what? Yeah, you got me. Would you like me to get a manager?" CL: "You bet your butt I want to talk to a manager. And after that confession, I'm calling the effing police after I'm done with your manager. You'll go to jail for the rest of your life." Me, again with a crap-eating grin on my face at this point. "Oh, you bet I will, ma'am." At this point, my manager comes around the corner. Turns out he was in the next aisle over, practically waiting for his cue because he was doubled over with laughter at the sheer ridiculousness. Just because I figured it would piss her off even more, I saluted my manager and walked all the way back to my register. I could hear the entire interaction as well as the rest of the store. CL: "Your employee is trying to kill my kid. She's a GD Nazi. There's something wrong with her. I'm calling the police, and I'm suing her and this company if she's not fired." Manager: "Well, I can't confirm whether or not the OP is a Nazi, but I'm not going to fire her. You can go ahead and call the police. I'll be waiting for you and them at guest services." He promptly walks away. So backcrap crazy lady calls the police, screaming at the dispatcher about that situation and that management was refusing to help her. Police get there in record time, I think. My manager ended up going outside to talk with the police and this woman, so I didn't hear the conversation, but hey, guess who came to visit me? Her kid. He shuffled to my register, and this is what happened with us. He'll be referred to as SK for sweet kid. SK: "I'm really sorry about my mom. I don't want you to go to jail. It's all my fault." Poor thing actually started crying. Me: "Don't worry, buddy. I'm not going to jail. If you want, though, you can pick out any candy you want, and I'll pay for it myself." At that point, his eyes lit up, and he grabbed a Kit Kat. SK: "This is my favorite." Me: "Awesome. It's my favorite, too." So I rang up his Kit Kat and paid for it. He opened it and gave me a piece. SK: "Here. I want you to have some because you're really nice. And it's your favorite, too. Can we be best friends?" Guys, my heart's made of ice, and oh my, he absolutely melted my heart. After this exchange, everyone comes back in, and the police take my statement. They kept making offhand comments directed towards that lady and her being, well, insane. They asked me what the medicine in question had been. Me: "Children's vitamins. They're still on the floor over there if you want to go look." At that point, they glanced at each other, went back outside with the kid. I don't know what actually happened after that, but yeah, that's my story. That kid sounds like he has to apologize for his mother a lot. Poor kid. Can't go on your beach? Lawyer up and dig into old-timey law. So one rich lady had a house on Martha's Vineyard, an island in the northeastern United States, near my grandparents' place. My single mom of 5 was a school teacher, so we ourselves weren't remotely wealthy. Why do people always decide to use this caveat like people are judging me negatively? Judge away if you like. She had a private beach with guards on the beach. The only person who ever did this on the strip of private beaches, no trespassing, My grandfather's lawyer friend did not like the private beaches being more private. Lack of self-awareness here. At the time, a share of his, and my grandparents' beach was worth $50K, now worth $300K. So did some research. The law in Massachusetts said that the people who are fishing or shellfishing can access any beach. So he bought us little plastic beach buckets and shovels to carry with us the next time we took a beach walk with him. The guards tried to stop us. He said, "I'm just trying to go clamming with my friend's grandkids, shellfishing." They called up to the house and the head of security called the police. Police laughed when he told them these scummy-looking people were trying to clam on Rich Lady. Relayed by Mom's friend who worked at the town hall, collected with police, and not a lot exciting happens. Obviously, we got a lot of glee out of this for 3 kids under the age of 10, so the memory is strong. The guards sheepishly let us on the beach. Grandfather's friend laughed and basically told them to get effed. Never had issues going on the beach afterwards. Also, Rich Lady tried to build an addition that was much taller than allowed by town law. People did that stuff all the time over the winter, but she pushed it a little too far. Town made her rip the top off and lower the roof. This said she was allegedly pretty nice. She didn't want anybody bothering her. The family was a Martha's Vineyard institution, but Rich Lady basically stopped coming when her husband died. So much tragedy. And our last story. Crazy lady thinks every petrol station is the same. So for background, I live in the UK, and not one petrol station, gas station for you US folk, that I've been to has a service where the employees fill your car. I'm wearing black joggers and My Hero Academia t-shirt with a gray jacket. Me is me and CL is crazy lady. So I've just pulled into a service on the motorway as I needed some air in my tires and a drink as I'm thirsty. So I parked my car next to the air pump and put air in my tires, locked the car, then walked towards the store itself. Just before I walk in, I noticed some oil on offer, and as my car was due a service soon, I decided I might as well whilst it's on offer. Just as I'm about to pick up, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around and there's your typical CL with her arms folded and the glare that if it could kill, I would be dead on the spot. Me. Can I help you? CL. Yes, you need to fill my car. Me. Excuse me? This petrol station is self-service, as is the rest I've been to. CL. Don't give me that. I'll have you fired. Me, finally getting that she must think that I work here. Madam, I do not work here, just like you. CL interrupts and starts to raise her voice. I don't care. Fill my car. Me picks up the oil I wanted. No, I'm busy. And also, CL attempts to interrupt again. Me puts my hand up. Do not interrupt me. Firstly, I am not your slave. Secondly, this is self-service. You fill your own car. And thirdly, I do not help rude, obnoxious people like you. Now, good day. I walk into the store, pick up my drink and a flake, and go to the counter and pay for my goods. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.